Well, I know how I used to feel when I was in audience and the last speaker came on to speak, so I know, I can understand the kind of things going on in your mind right now. I can understand your plight. I won't take much time, but a couple of things I would like to elaborate upon. Number one, I think by now we have fully understood that a drone is a computer, a drone is a flying computer, and a drone is definitely a hackable flying computer. So as Mr. Sanjay Sahai said a little earlier, that there is nothing in this world today which cannot be hacked, and that hacking is the new normal. And even today's era, if the industrial automation systems can be hacked, as it happened in case of Stuxnet, and the entire nuclear facility of a country could have been brought down. And if the smart grids can be compromised, as it happened in case of Ukraine in 2015, when the entire information system was taken over by the hackers and the energy distribution companies were completely left clueless about what to do. So there is no reason to believe that drones cannot be hacked. However, there are two other things I want to mention. So we understand a hacking can happen of the drone. We understand that there can be drone deterrent systems to prevent drones from coming to your specified area. But there is another important aspect which I think is very important to think about. Recently, what happened in case of payment system operators, RBI came out with a directive that all payment systems operators in India need to have all the data stored within the country with respect to all the transactions, end-to-end transactions happening in the country. Now, the reason I'm stressing on this is that what guarantees that a drone cannot have an embedded chip programmed to send covert information or covertly transmit information or clandestine transfer of information to a remote server abroad. Now, I was talking to one of my friends working in an IT company, and he was mentioning today morning that they have huge facilities spanning across 450 acres or 500 acres. Now, it is all, I'm a very big advocate of critical infrastructures of the country being allowed to have drones for dynamic surveillance, because static surveillance by CCTVs beyond a point doesn't work. It is physically impossible to have such huge facilities, be it of refineries or power sector or major IT companies, to be done physically by manpower. So drones can actually play a very critical role in that. But there is always this possibility that drones can have these, as I said, embedded chips for transfer of data abroad, and that has happened with applications, the apps, the way we use today. There is always I think there's not a single person today in the country or probably in the world whose information in the mobile is some or the other way not compromised. So how do we make sure that it doesn't happen in case of drones? If the surprising things, as I mentioned a little earlier, that there are more than 40,000 drones today in the country flying as amateur toys. And some of these drones, which fly as amateur toys, are intelligent drones. They have intelligent battery systems, they have a satellite navigation system, they are connected with GPS, and if an obstacle comes in their path, they can actually identify it and move away from that. So what is the possibility of this kind of drone not falling in a wrong hand, and then the remote transmission of data not happening? So I'm sure that there cannot be any guaranteed architecture to prevent all kind of things like this. But couple of things which I believe is that Make in India, that's the reason, is all the more important, and I'm sure at some point of time in the future there will be pressure from certain countries to make sure that imports are also allowed. But Make in India is very important for this, not only to make sure that the drones are made in India, but they are made according to a particular template, with the OEM giving some kind of an undertaking, and that should not be only in case of drones, but a lot of other critical systems, that it does not have, the integrity of the machine has to be taken by the OEM.